Grizzle. Originally founded the company lab a few years ago. It's been really awesome to see groups like this begin to pop up, because this was not happening. Ben may have been the only entrepreneuring 6 or 7 years ago when we first started building all this stuff in Chattanooga. And if I didn't do it over the last 4 years, it didn't happen. And now having guys like you and Allie take this and run with it is really, really inspiring. So, so I'll run through this real quick as just like I'll assume you guys know my background, and I won't go into all that. And then, how long do we have for Q&A?
10-minute presentation, 20-minute Q&A.
Okay, so we can jump into whatever you want to talk about in the Q&A. So I'll run through this as quickly as I can and just try to give like a picture of what I'm doing now and why I'm doing it. Real quick, wanted to also introduce Ben Wall. He's my partner on a lot of this stuff, and Tyler James is actually doing work right now. He's the other partner in Spartan Ventures. So quick context, Spartan Systems is a web software consulting company. Build business intensive applications. And we've got 26 Spartans, still 26? 26 Spartans.
28 after this week, probably.
Yep, hiring more every day. 12 of those are in Chattanooga. We're down. Anybody eat at Taqueria on the south side? We have that whole building right next to Taqueria, which is a great space. If you're ever down there, feel free to poke your head in and say hi. So we don't specialize in building like content or static sites. We really like to build things that are core to running businesses or processes, e-commerce sites, healthcare oriented stuff, that's HIPAA compliant, financial services. I'll get into a couple examples in here. So at the core, from a Spartan Ventures perspective, we believe that technology is disruptive, and that there's not going to be any industry that is not unchanged by technology. And so as I was thinking about what I wanted to do as I transitioned out of CoLab, this has been a very organic, natural process for since I started it. I was always thinking about what was next. And so I knew I wanted it to be in technology because it's the future. There's no business that can't run without technology, but I am not a technologist. I know there's lots of coders out here. I am not one of you. I like to work with you to build things. But we know it's not going away, and from a Spartan Ventures standpoint, we want to help build that future, but we also want to participate in that future, meaning that if we help create value for an entrepreneur that we really help get off the ground, then we want to be participants in that value that we've helped create. So a little bit about who we are. We're entrepreneurs. We know how hard it is starting a business. How many of you are trying to start or have started a business before? It's really, really painful. It's not easy. It's a long, long road. One bullet point that I put up there is Ben and Tyler, in their first adventure, were recognized by Entrepreneur Magazine as top 20 in their 20s when they were starting their first business here in Chattanooga. Together between them and myself and startups that we've helped, startups that we're actively sitting on the boards of or own ourselves, have raised north of $10 million. So we know how to go out and get capital for products and teams that are building meaningful products in markets that are growing, and that's just something that we love doing. We've had a couple exits. The biggest one was QuickQ. Anybody familiar with QuickQ? It was really exciting. Exit in December. I helped convince Aaron Welch in his early days to leave his job. What was that, 6 years ago? Almost 4 years ago now? No, almost 3 years ago. Not that long ago. And so I joined the board from day one, got him his first money, and then we had a really great exit in December. So that's a great story. I'm glad to have been a part of it. But the biggest thing that I think success is, there's varying levels of success, and then there's the basement level, awful life experiences where you develop that scar tissue, where you learn. I think that's where the real learnings come. And we've got a lot of scar tissue between Ben and myself and Tyler and the rest of that 26-person team, 28-person team. We failed a lot, and it's not something that we don't talk an enormous amount about failure, but it's something that is important, and it makes you who you are. So we're entrepreneurs, we're strategists. We like to understand where the blind spots are because we've failed so many times and also had some successes. We can see around corners that I think a lot of entrepreneurs that are just getting going can't really see around. So we anticipate really well. Understanding product market fit is, I think, another strength that we have in our team. Just having a good sense of where markets are heading, and are they growing, are they shrinking, and how you develop code that impacts the way somebody lives their daily life, and then how do you wrap a business model around that so it's self-sustaining and continues to move forward. And really, that's just a series of lots of mini failures in the process of hopefully getting to a success. So designers and developers, we've also got, 22 designers and developers that are on staff full-time at Spartan. So we take the really talented people that are creating tangible things, and we leverage that, and I'll talk about the investment side here in a minute. But we take all those talents and we pour that into startups that we invest in. Startups that we invest in, as well as products that we develop out of Spartan Ventures. Our core is the development side, not necessarily the design side, but we do have great designers on staff. If you guys, Chattanooga has some great interactive design firms. We always love to partner. We like to do project. Humanot is a company we've done a lot of work with. Whiteboard. We're always looking for others. So as you guys run into people, if you think of these guys are great designers, we have a great development team. We'd love to work with those guys. There's a few of the languages that we work in on the development side. We're also on the development side. We always have a very full pipeline of opportunities coming through, and because our team is not all based in Chattanooga, there's only 12 in Chattanooga. A lot of our work comes from all over, DC, Boston, New York. We have very few projects that are actually from Chattanooga. So it's really fun for us to get those projects in other cities or other countries even, and then have some of that work done in Chattanooga, and then the work that we can't handle or it doesn't fit our specialty, we like to partner with other firms. So we're doing some stuff with Flint right now. I'm sure we'll do some stuff with Dev Studio 42. And if any of you are freelancers, we're always looking for freelance help in definitely any of those languages. And every once in a while we'll get a Python project or something like that we have to do almost a complete handoff with. So just wanted to, I'm not going to go through this in depth, but we've got a great process that we work through, kind of building, really understanding scope and how the flow of everything work and the intricate processes of that. I would think that those good processes really lead to great products. And even though, again, like I said, we're not a design agency, we do have great user experience designers on staff that can walk companies through the look, the feel, all that stuff. So in addition to being entrepreneurs, strategists, designers, and developers, we're also investors. And that's what the Spartan Ventures arm of Spartan Systems is designed to do. Over the next year, we'll invest over $1 million into startups. The majority of that will be done in kind contributions. So we do that for equity. So we have a bill rate, and then we have our retail rates, and then we have the rate that we charge an entrepreneur, and then the delta is the equity that we take. And that also includes money that we will put into investing in our own products and launching our own new companies. So I was talking a little bit before about some of the things that we look for. We really like what we're looking for when we're investing in a company. We really like looking at traditional industries that haven't been disrupted in a while. We were talking about prosthetics. I have no idea what software can do in the prosthetic world, but I'm interested, right? Software can run prosthetics in the same way it can run restaurants with QuickQ or Supply Hog in the supplies industry. We really like to work with people that have worked in those traditional industries that haven't been disrupted in a while. It's one of the biggest reasons for failure in startups is you have somebody who says, I have a great idea, but they've never done any work in that industry. And getting something off the ground, you have no idea who to call, how to take the first step. It's a really, really difficult process. So for us, we like to look at people who know what they're talking about, and they can pick up the phone and say, hey, Mr. Media person, here's what I'm doing, and this is why you should care about it in this industry, or know who to call for their first customer or their 100th customer. In an ideal world, the startup already has funding. Either they've raised a little bit of capital, or they can bring a little bit of personal capital into the arrangement because we do the discount for services or discount for equity model. It's really difficult for us to do something completely for free just because of the overhead that we have to continue to provide for ourselves. And then I think in an ideal world, we're also looking for companies that we can be an ongoing resource to. We really like to be partners with somebody rather than just a service provider on the venture side. We don't want to just develop something and, okay, good luck, you're on your own. Rather, we'd like to be a resource. Ben sits on a couple boards of companies that we've done work with. Since I just joined in January, I'm not on any boards yet, but I'm sure that'll come soon. I guess Ready Card, yeah. And then obviously we want to bring value. If we're not going to bring value, we can't invest. It's not a good steward of our own time and resources, and it's certainly not a good steward of the entrepreneurs or the management team's time and resources. So real quickly, going to touch on a couple of the portfolio companies that we're working on. WeCounsel is the only truly local Chattanooga company. I think are they presenting next week or in 2 weeks here?
3 weeks.
We helped them through the
2 weeks, yeah.
gig tank process, get up their initial prototype and get the initial system off the ground. With that, they were able to go raise $600,000 at the end of the gig tank last year. And since then, they've built their own team, kind of reworking the product into an actual, the product that they took to market and they're trying to scale more. One of the more fun projects that's rocking and rolling right now is called Bear. Any of you care about anything culture, like Broadway, musicals, operas, symphonies, stuff like that? So Bear is trying to be the Netflix for culture. And yeah, it's really amazing. So they've got probably, I don't know, how many things do you think they have up there right now on Bear? 20 or probably more than that.
It's probably about 50.
There's probably about 50 pieces of content that you can go up and for free, I think it's still free,
Yeah.
go and register and just start checking it out. They've got probably 10 or 15 Broadway shows that you can go and watch for free. So this is a New York firm that's just trying to think about, so if there's a public investment side for Netflix, why is there not an alternative investment opportunity for investors in the culture side? So we built a custom CDN for them for this, as well as the entire platform. It's responsive, includes apps.
Yep.
So it's basically like a full stack development, including all the business intelligence that runs the whole system. And they're in the process of raising a lot of money.
We're going to be closing on probably $5 million at the end of this week.
So that's exciting. And is that one you're on the board of?
Yep.
So Ben's on the board of that. We love working with guys taking big swings too, not just little base hits. Spark Motion. This is a really cool one. The Spartan Systems team built out a really impressive iPad-based motion what do they call it?
Motion analysis.
Motion analysis. They've got the Miami Heat using it, the Lakers using it. It's basically like, they can take an iPad, videotape somebody, is their form correct? They can draw on it and show you're not, your follow through isn't right, or your swing, the angle of your swing's wrong. But they're
It's on the App Store. How much is it?
but you can try it for free.
Right.
Yeah, it's a free app, and then they have depends on which model. So like they're focusing more on like selling to gyms or sports teams. You as an individual practitioner, or like if you own a chiropractic office or something, I believe it's like $9.99 a month. So there's different pricing models.
Yeah, and there's great applications for like manufacturing facilities that are really interested in lean manufacturing techniques and using the proper, welding technique or whatever. So is that public yet?
Not who they're doing that.
Okay.
But yeah, there's
Some
also-
really impressive, large manufacturers in the U.S. are going to be using this system soon. They're also out raising probably about a third or a fourth round of capital right now. They're based in D.C. So ReadyCart is the first product that we're launching internally. Has anybody heard of ReadyCart yet, or is this the first time? So this is a mock-up. This actually isn't the actual one. But anybody heard of Kitchen Daily? It's a big AOL property that goes through like recipes and things like that. So you've got all this content out there on the web that is driving people to go do something. It's like, go do this do-it-yourself home project, or make this Christmas wreath out of spoons, or make, buy these pots and pans, or whatever. You need these essential items for your kitchen. And people see that, they go, I want those, I want that, I'm inspired, I want to go get that. But then the point between when they get inspired or motivated and actually go buy something, life happens, and there's a significant drop-off in opportunity for revenue. And so we've created a nice little, it's a very simple tool that takes those products from those posts or that content, bundles it together so that you can just, with one click, or one tap, I guess, check out and buy all that stuff at once. And right now it's all fulfilled through Amazon, so you get it ideally in one box, but possibly not. And we've just made a really super simple process for that. So we're in the process of, this thing's live, you can use it now. We're partnering with content creators who've been beta testing, early alpha testing it for the last 2 months. And over the next 2 weeks, we're really starting to hit the gas pedal and go with it. So stay tuned. If you know any big content companies, we'd love to be in talks with them about it. We're really excited about it. So, just a couple things I wanted to leave you with. We're always looking for collaborators on the design side, on the developer side, freelancers, other firms that we can work with and partner with. We can never have enough talent that we can call on at a moment's notice. I mean, literally, we get random projects that are just like great paying opportunities for us and for whoever we partner with. And sometimes they come like, hey, can you turn this around in 12 hours? And it's, you know, a publicly traded international company asking, and it's like, well, we can't. And so we call a few people and they can't, so it's just money that's left on the table by somebody. So let us know if you've got people interested in doing random projects like that. We're currently hiring as well, so if you guys know of any project manager, senior level project managers, do we have any specific developer openings right now?
Probably on the mobile side. So either iOS or Android, and probably another Ruby developer here pretty soon. But highest priority is a couple more property managers.
Yeah, so love to have some PMs. And then on the investment side, if you guys come across great startups, good ideas, whether they come through here or you see them at CoLab or any events, just run into them on the street. Feel free to send them our way, sit down with them and see what they've got. So, thanks. My contact info. There's a really awesome picture of me right there, which you can't see. So, any questions?
I was curious, being based in Chattanooga, how you guys find collaborators, in markets like New York and DC that you were mentioning.
Well, we only have 12 employees in Chattanooga. Actually, in November, we only have 1. So we've quickly grown in Chattanooga. Before that, 100% of the employees, except for 1, were outside of Chattanooga. So the president of the company is in Manhattan. Ben and Tyler live in DC. We have several developers in Boston, DC corridor there. Got a guy out in Las Vegas. We got 2 guys in Europe. And it's a whole team in Miami. So it's pretty easy to get work out of those other areas, especially on the Spartan Systems side. They've done some really great projects with some publicly traded companies all the way down to startups. And so that creates a really nice portfolio that it's an easy story to tell. And they're good platforms that they built before I joined the team. Everybody needs software built right now. So it's a really good business to be in. Is that the kind of collaborators you were talking about, or you mean?
So how do you do project management? In particular, if you're working with a startup that's kind of got a nascent team, that maybe some of the team doesn't have the capacity to really focus on the startup. How do you work with them? How do you incorporate them? You know what I mean?
Not really. You mean if they're not doing it full time, how do we work with them?
Yeah, exactly. So, part of the startup
Are you talking
challenge
on the
is
system side or on the venture side?
on the system side. So, part of the startup challenge is to build a good team, right? And part of that challenge is that folks you might want on your team have day jobs.
Yes. Well, so that Ver, that one Ver, this one, they still don't have a full-time team.
Right.
So they had a vision for what they wanted to do, And obviously, they devoted an enormous amount of time and resources to making that happen. And they're now raising a real Series A to pull all these people who have kind of been piecemealing their time together to get this. I mean, we've been the most full-time team on that product, even more so than their team. So you can pay for it. You can buy the time, but it's good process. We have a really good process that helps walk entrepreneurs through the envisioning side. Like, what is your vision for this thing? And then helping them make critical decisions, both on the business side, on the intelligence side, and the product side, that hopefully save a lot of time in the future. So we invest a lot of time on the front end to make sure that everything is right, so that it becomes more of an execution phase than a discovery, rolling discoveries. That's a really painful way to do it, expensive for everyone. On the venture side, we don't make investments in people who aren't already full-time. We treat it's literal cash to us, because we have major companies that are willing and able to pay us full market bill rate. And so any discount we come off that is literally cash out of the company. And so it is a literal investment that we're making, at least for us. And so we treat that very, very seriously in the same way that, putting my blank slate hat on, where we're giving cash for you to do whatever you want with it. It's cash out of our pockets. So with that said, we don't invest in people who aren't full-time yet. Maybe at some point we'll be making so much money that we can take some more chances, but we're not there yet. We take big chances on our own products. We take more calculated ones with people we're partnering with.
What do you see as been some of the biggest risks in these specific ventures that you're working on? What keeps you up at night?
Execution risk is a really big one. It's not that hard to create a great product that looks good and looks beautiful. He's got a great vision for what this can be. He wants this to be a publicly traded company very, very soon, so that people interested in the streaming space can have an alternative investment to Netflix. I think that's a great vision. The product's done. Somebody's got to go out and sell it and turn that into a company and scale it. And so the technology risk isn't that scary. The product risk isn't that scary. The market risk isn't that scary. I'd say it's all like management team and execution risk is where and that's where we spend the majority of our time thinking, is like, if it's a green entrepreneur, how do we coach them to a point where we don't have to work with them 5-6 hours a week? How can we get that down to a half hour a week, or nothing, or half hour a month? So that's what makes us the most nervous. Anything to add there?
No, I think that's spot on. I mean, when you've got when you check a lot of the early boxes, raising capital is pretty easy. So I think maybe 4 years ago, the capital markets were a little tighter, but nowadays, there's so much money, and if you track different funding reports, there's such an enormous amount of funding going into early stage ventures and later stage rounds, and even the M&A, the acquisition, the IPO market is accelerating. So it's a good time to get out there and do something.
Yeah, the things that deserve the money or getting the money. And I don't think that was the